This is the time, this is the place, and this is FC3 Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky. And since anything is geeky, if you love it enough, you never know what you're gonna get. So, this is your host, IMC. In the studio with me is a whole bunch of folks, and I'll get to them in a moment. But this week we'll be talking about the film Black Panther. After that, stick around for our Everyday Hero shout-outs and our question of the week. How we doing, gang?
Hi, I'm B.
Billy. B is here. Billy's here. Tanya's here.
T.
Dolly and Edwin are here.
Hi.
D and E. So we got almost the whole alphabet here. On the phone, producer Sherry and the Mighty Monk is on board. In the studio for the first time in ages. We miss you so much. The almighty, the box office goddess, Sybil is here. Hi, baby. How you doing?
Oh, I'm wonderful. So much better than being on the phone.
Yeah, I'm serious. Now, this is being taped. We're taping on the 4th. This is going to drop on your birthday, the 14th. I know you're up here to visit family for your birthday this weekend. So happy birthday, sweetie.
Thank you. You say it's your birthday.
There it is. And also, last but certainly not the least, sitting to my immediate left is my bouncing baby boy. Ian has returned to the studio for his first time in a while.
Hello.
How are you, big man?
Doing good.
He's about only like a quarter inch shorter than you are right now.
No, he's shorter than that, but he is going
much.
into a growth cycle again. This 15-year-old boy is what? He's like 6'3" at this point already.
Are we finally going to tell him how World War II ends?
No. No.
The Nazis are not happy.
This is it. The Nazis are protesting.
It was a giant bakery.
However, the Romulans are.
The Romulans are all
That's
in.
a surprise twist.
That was a twist. The Axis powers were defeated by the Romulans. And so there we go. So, hey, but we're all good. Everybody's healthy.
Did we
survived.
Hear Sherry and Monk on the phone?
Yeah, I did. I said that. Sherry and the Mighty Monk. I said that. Mighty Monkey Wench.
Okay.
And then did they get their chance to say hi?
I don't know.
I'm on a clock now. I'm being told by my producer I have to like stop kind of lollygagging my way through things at this point.
You need to be here to herd him.
I did not.
I'm in your chair.
No power in the verse.
Hear you.
Yeah, we're not going in there. Because I have this.
I finished Serenity. Now
I have this horrible dream. I'm going to be sitting in the green room at the June show. And I'm going to be sitting there minding my own business, and Eric Avari's dog is going to come in with a little note tied to its collar.
No, that'll be at my house.
Yeah. So.
I can do that, Sherry.
Awesome.
Just remind me.
But we're all good. Everybody's here. We're all healthy.
I fully support this idea.
And we all survived another snowmageddon again.
I'm sorry.
How much snow did you get out in your way, Sherry?
About 3 feet.
Okay. Yeah, we got about 2.5 in some places.
I think this is probably the worst snowfall we've had since we've lived back here in Clinton. And we do have someone on the injured list.
Your husband, right?
Oh, yeah. Assistant producer Chris is laid up.
He is very hurt. He's a hurting unit today.
All right, we're sending him some love and good juju to help tell him get it back on his feet soon. What was that, Monk?
Lana's arguing with me, so just ignore her.
She's a child. They do that.
We couldn't keep up with it. We couldn't keep up with it this time.
No.
We're blaming Angie.
Enough.
Yeah, we're blaming Angie.
I'm going to stay out of this conversation.
No. Ray's taking responsibility for this one.
Okay.
Blame both of them because they like snow.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, we're blaming Ian also?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to jump in, and we're going to go into some sponsor shout-outs. We've got our usual list. You guys should be familiar with them by now. We got our typical tip of the hats to Knox, FC3's living room, which we had a great cosplay karaoke event at last week. Oh, my God, that was so much fun. And Selena's, Best Mexican Food in Rochester. First Print Comics, we love you guys. Great Escape Room of Rochester. And Wibbly Wobbly, Timey Wimey. Heather from Wibbly Wobbly is one of the people responsible for bringing us Caitlin Blackwood, the young Amelia Pond from Doctor Who's Series 5, and I believe she popped up in 7 and 8 as well. No, 6 and 7. So, because 8 was Capaldi, so she was not in that one. But anyway, so we got a lot going on there. Patreon. Keep your eye on our Patreon in coming weeks. With a lot of changes. Don't forget to support us. www.patreon.com/FC3ROC. And you will start seeing some behind the scenes, and every Patreon subscription will get a shout out online. Apple 5-star reviews. Want what to help others find the show? leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Every review will be thanked on the air, and any questions will be answered. We want this to be a conversation, so please send your questions. And now we're going to, what? We're going to hang for a second? We got a break? How are we doing, Sherry?
We're doing fine.
I
want to know how people are doing in there.
Okay, so Dolly and Edwin are at one end of the table, and they're kind of staring quietly at their phones. So they're fine. They look a little tired. So
how excited I was to see that Eric Avari posted to one of our
Facebook post?
Yes, thank you, Billy.
Wow, Tanya.
I'm tired. I don't know. This, like, not being at work.
We're all a little
Thursday.
More Cadbury eggs.
More Cadbury eggs.
Yeah, considering tomorrow I'm starting my diet. Yep.
That's a prescription for today.
I'm going on the I'm not going to lift kitty litter anymore diet type thing.
Yeah, sure you are.
She was inspired.
I was very inspired. Oh, my God.
Billy's wife, Susan
looks
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, she's
a
lost.
phenomenal lady anyway, but man.
Yeah, she's lost 80 pounds since
like
the end of August.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
That is impressive.
So,
That's dedication. So bravo to Susan.
Oh, man.
I can't even.
Yeah, I'm actually on the same trip. I started a new gym membership near the house. Since
Okay.
He's going to work earlier. I'm going to have to get up early anyway, so I'm going to go to the gym and then go
There you go.
to
Yeah.
work.
Nice. Well, good luck with that. You got any goals, any objectives? For me, when I work out, it's just basically I want to make it to the top of the stairs without losing my breath. That's pretty much. I'm really.
That's just standing up.
I want to tone and look like Valkyrie because she looks like what Wonder Woman should look like.
There you go. There you go. How about you, Sibs? You're going to be in town for the rest of the day today, right?
Yeah, just the rest of today. Hang out with a few other friends and then
back to Pittsburgh.
Driving back down to Pittsburgh.
So what can we do to bring you back to Rochester? Like win the lottery, probably.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's probably going to be the only thing that gets me stuck in here.
Yeah. Well, we'll bring you up seasonally because you're our box office goddess. So you help us run FC3.
Got to come up and visit every few months or so.
There you go. Ian just killed a doodle.
Yep.
What was that? Was that
Kill the doodle.
Kill the doodle.
I don't
He's
know,
like,
but-
he's turning red. He's like, why is everybody looking at me? Because we can all hear you,
We heard
Ian. Yeah.
We're losing connection.
That's it. Yeah.
We're all in the same
We're in a tunnel.
room.
We're all in a tunnel.
It doesn't work that way, Ian. Nice
Yeah.
try.
How about you, Tanya? Tanya Fabulous. What you doing over there?
I'm doing pretty good, other than the fact that I can't remember what I wanted to say in regards to Facebook posts and all that type of thing.
I have a whole age crack that I could make, but you're younger than I am, so I'm not going to make it.
And you're within arm reach today.
You know, I'm not really stressed about that either
No?
because I'm
I
still the
don't-
dungeon master.
I don't want my character to die.
Yes, I was
going
going
to
to say.
so.
There's D&D later today.
No, I'm just gearing up for a pretty busy week between board meetings and CSE meetings and birthday celebrations and all
Yeah,
that
your
type of
birthday's
stuff.
come. This is like birthday season for the family here. We've got Sybil coming up. We got with Sib and
Mine's
Sybil
before
and
Sibs.
Sib and then Tanya. So Tanya and then Sybil.
And Susan's was
Susan's
yesterday.
Susan's was
Friday.
yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yesterday? I thought it was
Yesterday.
Friday.
Nope, Saturday.
The third.
Third.
My grandmother's was the second.
Is that Gigi?
That was Gigi.
How's Gigi doing?
Gigi's doing awesome.
That's great to hear. She's what now? 80?
87.
80.
I had to think about how old I was and then add 40.
And at 40. Okay.
Because I'm going to be 46.
I do that with my mother.
Uh-huh.
So,
No, I have actually we've been working on Edwin's Twitch channel, just
Okay.
kind of practicing to gear up for the Mighty Monkey Twitch channel.
Thank you for bringing that up. As of this drop date, 3/14/2018, today, Wednesday the 14th, our Twitch channel, thank you for nice little segue there. Brilliantly done, Dolly. Our Twitch channel will be up and running. We did our 24-hour of madness on the 10th, that
I'm
Saturday.
so tired.
I know. Still.
Yep, Edwin starting it off.
Okay. Edwin's starting his off.
At
and
11 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I got the 4:15 to 6:30.
I know I'm
time.
showing up at Sarah and Curtis's apartment and setting up my PC, and then that's it. I'm hunkering in and doing whatever they tell me
Well,
to do.
I'm also gaming that night, so I didn't game
Okay.
cosplay karaoke night. So
Gotcha.
I'm gaming that night. But,
Okay.
But
I'm
as
doing whatever my dad does.
Yep.
'cause I follow him.
That's it. Well, only to a particular degree. Because then I tell you to clean your room, and you don't follow that.
Selective hearing,
Uh-huh.
sir. Selective
Yeah, you're not
hearing.
supposed to have that
Oh,
until you're in
no.
your 40s.
Curtis was saying something about that they had Wii games, and Sarah's yelling at him yesterday, going, "No, I already did the schedule. Do not put Wii stuff into this." I'm like, I can play Wii. I really can.
We like
the
the Wii.
rest of the
I gotta
games,
go Wii.
I'm so scared to.
You gotta
'cause
go Wii.
I'm a little terrified.
You're a little terrified
Yeah.
of this? So for those of you who are not sure or maybe missed the marathon on the 10th, what is Twitch, you might ask? Well, here it is. This is the bottom line of it. Twitch is a video streaming service. Now, predominantly, it's used so you can watch people play video games and interact with them while they are doing it. So it can be a live stream. Now, think of it way back when you were a kid. Or if you're a kid right now, think about how you do things now. You're always watching the people playing. And what the heck is... Oh, jeez, Billy.
Twitch.
Oh, my God.
It's the only Twitch I know.
It's the only Twitch that Billy knows.
Close enough.
Who doesn't love the Flintstones?
I'm telling Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones. They're the modern Stone Age family.
Sorry.
From the town of Bedrock. They're a page right out of history. Where was I?
They're modern Stone
So you
Age
can
family.
basically you can hang out and
Bull
watch
like Fred Flintstone.
while your friends are there you go while your friends are playing video games. We are planning on doing that. We're going to have our channel running fairly regularly, so you can keep an eye on us while we're doing Overwatch and World of Warcraft and a variety of things. There's going to be a long list of things. Edwin, what's on the list?
Oh, pretty much right now we got, Destiny,
okay.
Overwatch, Monster Hunter.
Okay.
Maybe a couple other more is going to be
Probably some Call of Duty action going on from time to time.
not from my part, but
No.
yeah,
I don't
mostly.
think I saw Call of Duty on there.
I also know that we have an evolutionary plan like we have for just about everything else with this company, and that is we're going to be adding our own talk shows. In essence, we're going to have you familiar with Critical Role and Critical Hit? We're going to be doing our own version of that. So we're going to have a regular D&D campaign that will go up on a weekly basis. We're going to do our weekly game night opposite of that, and so game night would be like if you want to play the Star Wars D20, or if you want to play Talisman, or if you've never heard of if you're one of the rare people who have not heard of Cards Against Humanity, we're going to play. These are the things we're going to do on quote unquote game night. So we'll be featuring other role playing systems as well.
I pulled up the 24-hour Twitch schedule.
Yes.
There's Overwatch. There's a Bean Boozled challenge.
Pong? What?
I'm scared of that one.
That's a possibility, Billy. I think so.
The one I'm involved in is the Jackbox Party Pack.
And you had a good time with that.
Yeah, I guess I did.
That's the thing about recording ahead of time.
Make a sandwich challenge. What's in my mouth challenge. Cotton ball challenge. Chubby bunny challenge.
We're gonna be doing some fun stuff with this, and then as that takes off, then we'll take requests. So if there's something that you, the dear listener, wants us to do, then there you have it. We're going to have an option
like
for that.
I have to come in on from 9:30 to 11 on Sunday.
Yeah,
because it's Chris and the FC3 family. So
that's it.
I get to go home and sleep.
You're all my family.
I get to go home and sleep for a little while.
I love you guys.
I don't.
And come back.
Yeah, well.
So yes. There's going to be lots of fun times, or there were lots of
There
fun
were?
times.
You're very tired?
I am exhausted. Yeah. Okay. This is what happens when you're pre-recording
You're a time
something.
traveler. That's what it is.
Where's my TARDIS?
See?
Yeah.
It's on my back.
There you go. And Sherry, don't
It's
worry,
on my
because
back.
we're going to be talking about Twitch on a fairly regular basis. So, we'll probably mention some more of this next week as well, and we'll just keep talking about Twitch as it unfolds. So this is going to be a regular feature. We'll probably talk about on the podcast is what we're doing on Twitch and what our upcoming schedule will be like, stuff like that. So the fact that we're putting a little more time in it than we usually do right now, not a big deal. Where was I going with this?
Nowhere.
You were just checking to see how we all were.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then we were gonna do a break and then come back with our
Sounds like a plan.
discussion.
Let's do that.
That's what we're gonna do.
Let's go do that. We're going to
Okay.
go to a break. We'll go to a break. That'll be fun. And Sherry can yell at me somewhere because she does that.
See how dumb
She's
he
good
is.
at it.
One time he's riding my car, and I flipped on the turn signal, and he just went, "What's that clicking noise?" Hey, any of your cars making like a clicking noise. You're an idiot. You know, on Star Trek, where it says, "To boldly go where no man has gone before," Jonely thought boldly go was another planet. I swear, watching it one night as kids, Joan just looks over and goes, "When they going to boldly go?" What did you just say? They ain't never been to boldly go. Why do we hang out? So that's Joan Bonley from Boldly Go. I can't make that up. I am not that smart. He is that dumb, and he's a daddy. He's dumb, but he's a great hunter. The way he hunts is dangerous. He'll go, man, if it moves, just shoot it. He'll go like, got him, Zeke. Zeke? Zeke's last words were like, what's that clicking noise?
Yeah, they overstuff these smart water bottles. Billy, you find the best comedy things.
Thank you.
Best comedy bits.
Thanks.
See, that's why he's a true professional. He's our Billy, you're our ringer. Without you, we'd be floundering around.
Wow,
but we are
bad
professionals,
for
though.
you.
We are professionals
You
now.
are.
This is amazing. We've been doing this for about a year and a half.
I think you guys are great at it.
Thank you, Billy. Well, I know Sherry has definitely helped us up our game. That's a thing. That's definitely a real thing. Sherry, are you still there, or are you just kind of sitting in the corner going, when is he going to stop talking?
No, I'm fine.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Really? Really, Ian? Really?
Do you need to be fired?
Not my love for the offspring. I can't fire him. He's my kid. There's biological connection there. I can't
Plus, I'm
fire
not
him
even
from being
hired at this moment.
Yeah, he's not. He's 15.
Yeah.
So there's child labor laws. You can only work for so long, so get out of here. No, I can't say that.
If it's a family business, he can stay as long as he wants, though.
Oh, see, that's good. Because he would have been out of here about 5 minutes ago. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So what did we do recently? We saw one of the biggest movies of recent memory. It's like the Black Panther. We saw that. We did a little video, which got popped up recently. Thank you, Dolly. That was awesome. Edwin, his first swing at being a sound guy.
He's my boom op.
He's a boom.
I want to know what the 1-2 that you were.
Number one for 2 straight weeks.
It was the number one movie for 2 straight weeks.
You know what it is? He didn't realize that the mic was over you guys and that you couldn't hear him if he spoke.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he was trying not to speak so the camera wouldn't pick him up, not realizing the mic was pointing at you.
12% of a plan?
Yeah, 12% of a plan.
I'm like, I know it's a Marvel movie, but I'm like, because I was telling Chris earlier, I'm like, Edwin was going 1 and 2, and I had no clue what he was talking about. Sorry.
Here's how successful this movie was, or still is.
I watched it twice.
No, and not only have we gone to the theater to see it twice at this point, this movie made back its production cost in the first weekend alone. Okay, how many movies can claim that?
Not many.
Very, very few.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. In the first 2 days this thing hit the theaters, it made back the cost of production.
Did any of the Star Wars movies do that?
I don't think any of the Star Wars movies. I think Last Jedi came closest, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was the other one.
Force Awakens?
Force Awakens.
I beat you to it by a heartbeat, Monk.
Yep.
So what we got? So we're going to review our Black Panther. We've done the non-spoiler review, the video that came out like a week or so ago.
Spoilers.
There you go.
Sorry.
Spoiler, sweetie.
What's that?
Spoiler.
It's a spoiler alert.
You know,
spoiler alert.
So if you haven't seen
Alarms
it
going off.
by March 14th,
Yeah.
pause this right now, go watch it,
And then come back to it.
And you're
That's
like,
your
the
only warning.
one person left on the planet.
Seriously, I think there's only like
Right now, my husband and my oldest have not seen it yet, but neither one of them care about spoilers.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, spoil it, whatever.
Well, Tyler's
sings.
the kind of person that you could
Tyler
tell him
had-
something and it goes in one ear out the other, and he'd still
Tyler
be surprised.
had 2 opportunities to come and see it, and
Yeah.
he said no both times.
I know.
So, you know what? Sucks to be him.
And I'm just going to say that I think I've made this comment before, but when we have our full-on merchandising and stuff like that, we're going to have like a perfume named Spoilers. You know,
There's got to be one already out there.
a scent for the geeky girl. Spoilers. So I can just imagine people. We got to do the commercial for that, Dolly. That's going to be good. All right. Anyway, moving on. Right off the top of the bat, so we're making it very clear that we're going to be talking about little bits and pieces of this movie, and some of the things we say are probably going to be giveaways and spoilers. So you are now duly warned, as Tanya has said. If you have not seen this movie yet, then what happens next is on your head, not ours. Okay, that's done.
We've given you plenty of warning.
What makes this movie different from any of the other Marvel Cinematic Universe movies? What is it about Black Panther that has made it so huge so quickly?
The casting.
Okay.
I mean, just the basic, the strong female characters. There's actually many of them this time, and
Right.
not just
Not just
one.
token.
Exactly.
Right.
There's no token characters in this. Plus, there's every character when they're there, their presence takes up everything.
Oh yeah, I was having this conversation earlier today. I don't think there's a single throwaway character in the entire movie. I don't think there's one person who doesn't have a role to play. You've got some extras in the background that obviously they're there to be extras and fill in the scene and whatnot. But seriously,
Even the rhino.
Oh, I was just
Yeah.
thinking
Yes, even
that
the rhinos.
They weren't throwaways either.
no,
No.
they
They came
even had
back
their
at
own
the end.
personalities.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
That was great.
And the end battle when he goes charging the general and stops short and licks her in the face because
That's 'cause
there's that bond. There's that bond.
Growing up, being raised by them.
Yeah.
Yeah, never introduce your girlfriend to your riding rhino.
Oh,
To your pets.
Yes.
Don't introduce your
war
girlfriend to your pets
pets.
because
Your
they
war
will.
pets.
The pets will like her better than you.
War kittens.
Yeah, the war kittens.
War corgis.
And I think there you go, the war corgis.
Battle goats.
That's going to go over well with
Battle
Sarah.
goats.
That's going to go over really well.
Battle goats.
What's that, Cher?
Monk wants battle goats.
Battle goats.
We
Hypnotoad.
gotta do that.
And then I think because we're in this modern era of a push for diversity, to have this character featured so strongly and so well done. This was definitely not a token like, oh well, we're just going to have a black actor and we're going to have a movie centered around black people just because people want it.
And it wasn't campy either.
It wasn't campy.
Not
It
at
wasn't silly. There wasn't like cliche or anything. This was well thought out from beginning to end. This was respectful of cultures. This was respectful of what it meant to modern cinema. I felt that this movie was of the Avengers movies that have come out, the MCU that has come out. I'm putting this top 2 with Ragnarok. Right up there with Ragnarok in terms of the best MCU
as far
movies
as you're
yet.
saying with like respecting of cultures, like, it was awesome the way the different tribes were actually representations of different actual tribes
Yes.
from Africa, and
Yes.
they researched each one, and they put the thought, and they actually did the pre-production, which is a big word for me. It makes me so happy.
Yeah, they put the legwork in because they didn't want just token cliche stuff
They didn't
sitting on
rush
the.
it. They didn't rush
Yeah.
it and throw it out. Like
They did it right.
There's some other companies do, DC, So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I liked it.
So, going to that, they created a unique culture for each of the tribes. The Golden Tribe, which was the royal one, uses the motif of the black and purple and the continental symbol for the sun found throughout Africa. The Border Tribe was inspired by the Lesotho architecture.
It's a big word.
Architecture, yeah, and language, and uses the motif of the blue and the wood.
And that's the Rhino tribe.
That's the
Yes.
Rhino
Okay.
tribe. The River Tribe uses the motif of green and shells. The Merchant Tribe was inspired by the Nigerian architecture.
That word is kicking your butt today.
Man, I tell you. In language. And the Jabari Tribe wears furs and wood to represent their naturalism.
And the Jabari tribe, we have a local shout out to. The Winston Duke, the actor who played M'Baku, the king of the gorilla tribe, the Jabari, was raised in Rochester. He went to Brighton High School. He graduated college from SUNY Buffalo. He was born in Trinidad and Tobago and moved to Rochester when he was 9. But he's our local boy.
Yes.
And I'll throw it out there right now because there's a bunch of people who have asked me about it. We did officially invite him to FC3, but he already had a scheduling conflict in June, so he was not able to make it. But he is willing to talk to us about being on the podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
And we're going to see if we can maybe do a one-night stand with him, bring him in, and we do a viewing of the movie, and we have him talk to folks and whatnot. And then, very well, we'll see if we can bring him in 2019. All right, so that's a thing. And what was amazing is that we reached out to him, and he's like, oh, yeah, cool, because we reached out to him through Facebook. He goes, here's how you get a hold of my agent and whatnot so you can find out about my schedule. But then he continued the conversation on his own. He just kind of chatted with us for a little bit. So that was kind of really wild. That was a lot of fun. Sherry, what'd you have?
I love. Okay, he went to Yale with Lupita Nyong'o.
Okay, and that's where they met.
Yeah, they were good friends there, and they went to see the Avengers together.
Oh, nice.
And they loved it, and they said, "Oh, I hope someday we get to do a movie like that."
And so then they're both in the same
did.
movie. And you were right. You and I saw this movie together, Sherry. You were with us on the big day that we all went to go see it. And she is what an exquisite woman. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
There's just something about her where, you see her presence. I've seen her in a couple of other movies beforehand already. And you don't see her physically, but you hear her and you hear her presence because she plays Maz Kanata in the recent Star Wars movies. So she's a CGI character. So you don't really but you feel this presence of this woman, and you're seeing this actress on the screen, and she just, what a stunning, absolutely stunning presence that she has. So this is
something really, really cool.
Tell me something really, really cool.
With her and a couple of the other women in the show. This was like my favorite piece of trivia that I found when I was researching for this. Okay, I'm trying to remember who did it first. There was a play. Okay, here it is. There's a play called, it's called Eclipsed. Mm-hmm. And in 2015, there was a London production of Eclipsed. And Letitia Wright, who played Shuri, played the lead role. And the lead role is just known as the girl. In 2016, Lupita Nyong'o played the same role on Broadway. And
really?
They acted together in this. And do you know who it was written by?
Who?
Danae Gurira, who played Okoye.
From Walking Dead.
Michonne.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
Michonne.
she played Okoye in Black Panther. She wrote it, and they both starred in it at different times.
That's phenomenal. What a small world. Seriously, this is 6 billion people on it, but it's a small world nonetheless. That's impressive.
We're not doing 6 degrees of separation, are we?
6 degrees of Lupita Nyong'o?
Because I don't think I can play.
Ay.
She's phenomenal, and what I liked about her, especially her character, she reminds me a lot of my friends who are very strong females. I see them in her, which to me, which is why I connect.
It's that
so much with
relatable. That connect. We've talked about relatability on several occasions.
Yeah, one of my best friends, Shantae, like I kind of see her in there,
Right.
and a lot of my very strong Black friends who I grew up with and went to high school and college and stuff. And I like just the way she carries herself reminds me of the people who I like admire as far as my friends. They carry themselves with that strength, and I love that.
And here we are. We've spent most of this conversation talking about the supporting characters and the secondary characters. Can we talk about Chadwick Boseman? Holy crap! That man owns a room without having to try.
Yes,
that's the thing that blew my mind.
does.
Is every scene he walked in, it was like my favorite was the day of the coronation. After the coronation, he's doing the tour of the kingdom, and he shows up at his sister's lab, and he's walking down that hallway, and the warriors are taking their places and saluting him, and he's just walking down that hallway, and he's not saying a thing. He doesn't have to. That's the thing. Every step, the way he has his hands folded behind it, the way he's just carrying himself, it's like, holy crap! This man is owning the entire movie just by existing. And there are a lot of leading men who have that kind of strength, but I have not seen it that potent in such a long time. That blew my head. That blew my
Actually,
mind.
strangely enough, it may be an odd comparison, but Robert Downey Jr. Similar in that he just has a personality that can carry whatever role he's playing and be magnetic. Whether it's, he played Jackie Robinson in 42, which is a great movie.
That's what I was
He
gonna
played
say.
James Brown. He's played actually a bunch. I almost want to say this is just another real person, but Black Panther is obviously a fictional character.
Still.
But he made it so realistic that you think of it as just another like famous person I've grown up reading about or watching or whatever.
And I think that's another thing that made this movie again relatable.
Well, every role he's played, he's always been phenomenal in. I know a lot of people don't like the Gods of Egypt movie because they give it a lot of heat because a lot of the characters weren't Black, but he was in that movie.
Okay.
And he was phenomenal. Like, the way he carries himself, like, he always has this presence and essence to himself. And again, like he said, Jackie Robinson, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's an excellent
He was
movie.
phenomenal in that movie. Like, you really were convinced that he was Jackie Robinson. Like, he's a phenomenal actor.
I'm very pleased. Do we know who else was up for the part? Do we hear any
John
other?
Boyega.
Who?
John Boyega.
Oh, really?
Finn.
Finn from the Star Wars
I don't
movies.
think he would have been able to carry it the way he
No,
did.
No.
Yeah.
no.
Too young.
Well, I don't think it
No,
would have been horrible. I just don't think it would have had the same impact.
He doesn't.
No, he just plays young.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that power to,
Okay.
be the Black Panther.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a presence to him, to me.
Jo-
Boyega,
John-
I mean, to me, even in the Star Wars movies,
Mm-hmm.
like he's a throwaway character to me.
I wouldn't go so far as to
Like-
hit him with that hard, but
Because I don't know, like his acting skills are there, but they're not just developed enough yet.
Okay.
I feel maybe that's what it is.
I think, and then here's what's going to happen in about 20, 30 years. People are going to look back at John Boyega's career and call him like, oh, he was the next Denzel Washington. And everybody's going to stare at Dolly and going, throwaway character, huh? Anyway.
Anthony Mackie was up for the role.
But then Anthony Mackie got Falcon.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So Anthony, I don't know if Anthony Mackie, I don't know if I could see him as Black Panther. See, here's the thing. This is what's happened. And this happens. We talked about this when we did our Lord of the Rings podcast where Viggo Mortensen is Aragorn. There's just no other human being on the planet who could have played that part. For me, immediately upon seeing Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, it was done. It was locked in. I don't see anybody who could have played that part.
Well, the physicality, like just his body and just the strength and like, yeah, he embodied him.
And the way that,
perfectly.
and I loved, for me, there are times where character interaction is more important than the story. I've said this on several occasions. And to see the bond between T'Challa and Shuri, his sister, those two, the way they bantered back and forth and would talk to each other and relate to each other, I could watch 3 hours of that movie alone, just the two of them hanging out and chatting with each other. It was just so much.
Erase the video.
Yeah. What are those? I think it's like my favorite line of the whole movie. What are those? The sheer excitement that she throws at him for wearing slippers or the sandals in her lab. Like that was
Me and my brother.
Oh my God, that was the best. She's just, and then that little bundle of energy that she was, and Angela Bassett. Can we talk about the Queen? Angela Bassett, for God's sake! Wow,
She's just regal.
oh my God,
Yeah, she is.
seriously, that woman
Always.
is unstoppable. It's just she's a thing. That's
Did
just
he freeze?
like an antelope in headlights. I never freeze.
No?
No,
That was a great impersonation, actually.
I've been practicing that all week. That's like a fun line because he says it so like, and then did he freeze? He froze like an antelope, and they can't wait to throw him under the bus. They couldn't wait. This guy is your king, and you can't wait to throw shade on him as fast as possible.
That moment, that single moment said everything we needed to know about the relationship between those characters.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
That single moment.
That love and that respect and that admiration they had for each other, because it was not an attempt to make them look bad. It was just they wanted to make sure that they were having fun.
Yeah.
That's all. It was because there was family there.
Every line in that movie had purpose.
Yes.
Like there wasn't like a scene where like, I could cut that scene and would still get the same feeling. Like every line in that movie that they kept. That's why I say is great editing, because they kept in all the like good points that like kind of give you that character development. It moves the story along. Like
There was
loved
even
it.
some sneaker ones in there where Suri goes, she goes, oh, another broken white boy to fix.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
we
suddenly-
all know who that means.
Yeah, and then
It
he's a
wasn't
post-credit scene. Is all of a sudden there's Bucky Barnes, boom, at the end.
Because I knew at the end of Civil War that
He was at
He was there.
Wakanda.
He was in
Yeah,
Wakanda.
Steve dropped him off.
It never kicked in the first time I saw the movie.
As soon as
I'm
she
like-
said that line, I was like, ah!
Yeah.
But it never kicked in.
Exactly.
And
Every line
unfortunately,
meant
my friend
something.
Sean and I left before the second credits.
You never leave
Because
before
that's
they're
not-
all over.
That's not the real credits. Like so everyone leaves before like the animator credits. To
Right.
me, that's not credits. The rolling black and
Yes,
white
the
credits.
rolling
Yeah,
that's
that's it.
credits.
Right,
Amateurs.
and we left during those black and white credits.
But you did the
because-
second time around.
Not the second
we kept
time
you in your
around,
seat.
because the house lights came up at Tinseltown. So
So they faked you out.
They did fake us out. So I'm just like, and then when they showed it, I'm like, and I'm like, they made the connection for me. So
See, this is how
had to-
Marvel. I'm going to accuse
Damn
Marvel movie studios. It's an abusive, emotional relationship because they have beaten us into sitting through 4 minutes of credits just to watch 30 seconds more of movie. They've done this to us. We have been programmed into sitting, and we do it through other movies now.
I was just going to say that. It's not just Marvel movies. It's not just superhero movies. It's every movie.
Every movie. And we watch the whole credits now because we think something's going to be there, and when it's not, we get angry.
King Kong did it.
King Kong did it?
Yeah,
King
Skull
Kong
Island.
did it.
Seen it.
Skull Island. They
Yeah.
did it.
They did it.
Can we blame Marvel?
Yes.
Yes.
Blame Marvel.
But the
No,
thing is, I'm a
it didn't
film
start with
nerd.
Marvel.
I'm blaming
It
Ferris
didn't
Bueller.
start with
Yes,
I've been watching
yes,
this
because that's where it
forever.
started. You're
many
here?
voices.
Go home already.
I
Well,
always
they did
sit
it in
and
Toy
watch
Story.
It did it.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Are they gone?
Yeah.
Oh, I can stop smiling now. Oh, my jaw.
So I'm accusing the Marvel Cinematic Universe of vast emotional abuse.
Well, as a film nerd, though, I tend to sit there anyway
I do
before
too.
Marvel started doing that because I want to see who the cinematographer was. If it was a really good movie, I want to see who the cinematographer was.
Okay.
I want to see if I see a name I know.
And they call me
My
nerd.
dad
I
always
just-
sat through the roles.
What's
Or
that?
I
My
just
dad
play
always
with
sat
the
through the
names.
credits. So growing up, we always sat
I
through
wanted
the
to see if my
credits.
name was in there.
I always look for funny names too. And then,
Yes, funny names are the best.
and
And
well,
we try to
in
pronounce
Hot
them.
Shots, I think is part 2. They actually have like a brownie recipe in the credits.
That's amazing.
Actually, and I'm going to bring him up later, but if you sit through Kevin Smith movies in the credits, he always has some funny thank yous
Yes.
in his credits that make me.
Monty Python with the moose.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that the
forgot
whole
to
Hot
say
Shots
Moose
credit
one.
was a whole joke. Like most of them were just like there was like a brownie recipe, there was another joke, there was this random stuff in there, and I love that.
I think Airplane
that's
did the
why
same thing, even
Yeah.
dating back to
Yeah.
whenever that was, late
I
70s,
watched
early
those,
80s.
too.
Yeah.
Monty Python, Life of Brian, I think was preeminent at that sort of thing as well. So where do we want to go from?
I
Go ahead.
want to bring up.
Okay.
Wait, the
sorry.
people on the phone wanted to say something about us blaming Marvel.
Okay, then phone, and then we're going to go to Billy because Billy has something you want to say too. Go ahead, share.
Actually, it wasn't about the phone. Before we got too far away, Dolly had made a point about about no line being a throwaway, that everything worked so well. Can I give an unpopular opinion that I actually hate that I have?
Okay, go ahead.
We won't
Martin
fire
Freeman.
you.
Wait a minute, what was that,
Martin
Sherry?
Freeman.
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman.
What about him?
You could have picked him up and his entire storyline and taken it out of the movie and nothing would have changed.
You think so?
Absolutely.
People who
I
don't
think
know
he
that,
added
what character did he play?
Anything.
Agent Ross.
That was Agent Ross, the guy who
He's the
CIA
white
agent.
guy.
he was the little fellow who got injured and was taken back to
Yeah,
Wakanda
I
to be
don't
fixed.
see that he
token white
added
guy.
anything to the movie.
Ian's confused. He
Ian?
doesn't know who he is. He's the
No, I
one
know
that was
him.
flying
Yeah,
the ship
no,
to
I think he's-
destroy everything.
No,
at the end.
Ian's locked on. I think what he has is a problem with Sherry's opinion. Go ahead, Ian. What do you got to say
okay.
about it? Go ahead.
No.
No?
I can't. No.
Why not?
Because I don't like,
argue with
you
me.
know.
I don't want to argue.
Okay,
Sherry,
here, I'll
did
argue.
you make your full
because-
point? Did you make your full point yet, Sherry?
Because he doesn't want to
My
interrupt
point-
you.
I don't want to interrupt you.
No. So my point is that if you took him out, if you took out that entire storyline of him, I understand what his purpose was. His purpose was, you always have to have that one person in the movie when you're introducing a new culture, a new society, anything like that. You have to have one person to stand around and go, oh, wow, explain this to me.
I'm going to disagree fully on that one, but I'm going to let Ian take it from there. Go ahead, because you have something you want to say, and then Billy does, and then I'll
Okay,
pitch
well, I wasn't
in.
done.
Okay, well, continue.
Okay, but that's what the purpose. There's always that one character, and that's what his purpose was. I don't think he was needed. I
Okay.
think they introduced us to the world perfectly.
All right. Come on, Bubba.
Okay, so go ahead.
What do you got?
Tell me what you think.
I mean, throughout the whole movie, he did have parts that influenced the storyline. But if you took him away, I'm thinking it would have ended up a little different. More different because the supplies would have gotten out of Wakanda because he wasn't piloting
that
the
out.
ship.
I
But
thought that storyline was not really worthwhile.
Okay, again, disagree. Carry on.
Yeah.
but basically, yeah, I think he was an important role. I'm not sure how to really put out my facts unless I have more notes in front of me, which I can do soon. Give me 5 minutes and Wi-Fi, but But I disagree, and that's all I have to say.
All right. Well, there's a start. Billy,
fine.
what'd you have?
Actually, it's interesting that it sort of leads into my comment is the actual. There are people that I know that had problems with the nature of the movie, that it was a mostly black cast with, and I find that troubling, to be honest with you. I know that there was a whole sort of Rotten Tomatoes campaign. There were some people that wanted to negatively slam this movie based on the lack of white characters, which I find ridiculous.
I do too.
You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. I also
Yeah.
I've heard a couple of things where a lot of DC movie fans wanted to take vengeance on the fact that people have been panning the DC extended universe. So there was going to be a concerted effort to drive down the Rotten Tomatoes score of Black Panther just as a thumbing the nose. They didn't even care if it was going to be a good movie or not. They just wanted to wreak revenge on Marvel fans because they were supporting DC Universe so much. But then there are the extremists when it comes to our society these days. And with Dunkirk, when Dunkirk came out, people were coming out of the woodwork to slam it because of a lack of diversity. I'm like, well, it was World War II and they were British soldiers. There's not going to be a lot of diversity there. They were all middle-aged or younger white men because that was who was in England at the time of World War II. That's who this army was built from. This was not an army of African Americans. It was not an army of Japanese. This was not about the Swiss or the Native Americans. It was not about anybody other than a company of British soldiers. So to nail Dunkirk for a lack of diversity seems fairly ridiculous to me. So in return, on the other flip, I'm going to find a term somewhere along the line through all this babbling.
Flip the coin.
Flip the coin. When you're dealing with a movie set in an African country, how many white folks are you going to find?
Yeah. The thing is, I work with the people that that complained to me about this.
Thank you.
Had nothing to do with the DC versus Marvel. They couldn't have cared less.
Okay.
They came to me, there's just not, where are all the white people? So, well, where were all the black people in Captain America? You had the Falcon.
Yeah.
After that, none.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't black people have a place?
Black Howling Commando.
What? I'm sorry?
There was a Black Howling Commando.
There was a black and an Asian howling commando, but there weren't many. There weren't that many.
Well, see,
or
that's
just
what I
in general,
like.
in Spider-Man, or whatever.
Yeah, and a lot of people's point with this is with where's all the white people? It's just a predominantly black cast, and a lot of people are going, "You want a white movie? How about movies?"
Yeah.
They're all
other
white
movies. Yeah.
Like
All
the
other
thing
movies.
is, though, in some other movies where there's predominantly white cast, and then you have black extras, and they go, these are black people in the background. Well, we could say the same thing with Black Panther.
Exactly.
They were in London. There was white people in the background.
Yeah.
One
There was.
white lady
Where they
died.
belong.
And then they went to
China.
and they had
Korea.
Chinese.
Korea.
Yeah. Asia.
I think
And then they had the one American CIA agent.
right.
So I'm like,
I was in a theater
fit.
that was probably equally split between white folks, black folks,
and everybody
Hispanic
else.
folks,
Yeah.
just all having a good time watching a movie.
That's the key right
and
there.
it brought some people into the theater that maybe would not have come otherwise because they were interested in someone that represented them.
I heard this one ridiculous comment one time. I was talking to somebody about like the movies, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm a giant nerd. I love all this stuff." And the guy was an African American male, and he goes to me, "Oh, I don't like the idea of Black Panther. They're making up a character just to."
Oh yeah, I've heard that one. Making up a character.
Yeah, they're making up a character just to exploit us and blah blah. I'm like, no.
He'd been around before the Black Panther Party.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm like, no, they're not. And he's like, they're not. No, he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
They're just giving him attention now. That's all.
Yeah. What was that, Sherry?
1966.
1966.
Yeah, he made his premiere in a Fantastic Four.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the one thing that I love about the Black Panther movie too, is it gets these people who hadn't even looked at comics or anything to kind of look into this character. I'm like, oh well, he was really cool. Let me look a little more into him and find out that he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the people that had the problem with the lack of white people was a comics nerd who wanted to know where the Fantastic Four was. So I had to spend time explaining the movie studio politics of Marvel doesn't own the Fantastic Four right now. So.
They do now.
Now they do.
They do now.
They
didn't at the time that Black Panther was going into production, but since then, that'll be something I think we talk in another in the future.
Black Panther 2 will have.
Yeah. Well, I think
good Fantastic Four, not what we've had.
Well, I think that's what we need to start armchair quarterbacking is when are we going to start seeing all of the characters that have not yet been able to be accountable, like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four?
Well, I was reading a little bit about that they're saying that they're probably about to do Civil War Part 2. Because since the first Civil War, they didn't include the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Right. Because pretty much in that timeline is when the Fantastic Four pretty much separated.
Right.
So hopefully in the second Civil War, that will be including, Captain Marvel, hopefully.
Do you really see Marvel Cinematic Universe doing another Civil War, though? I mean, that was... let me tell you, from a person who collected comic books, to see Civil War 2 was a turnoff. For me, it was like, oh, guys, come on. Have we not seen enough of this? We just had the movie. We've had the comic series in the past. We've had the mini plots and all. And are we not tired of seeing our heroes fighting each other?
There's too many events nowadays.
It's all event-based at this point. Nobody has really just series anymore.
I've stopped reading almost all just regular comics now, just because it's two events, too many crossovers.
And it's tough to keep up with them all.
Yeah.
It really is.
Part 2 is mostly more, like structured for the new generation of, people that are reading the comics.
But also, Civil War 2 ended with Captain Marvel kicking Iron Man's ass upside down, left, right, and center, and Tony was thought to have been dead for a while. But if you're going to be, and it looked like they're going to probably be killing him off in Infinity War. So if you're going to kill off Iron Man in Infinity War, you can't kill him off in Civil War 2. And he's the main, and he's one of the main antagonists for Civil War 2. It's Captain Marvel versus Iron Man. It's Iron Man, not Iron Man versus Cap. It's Captain Marvel versus Iron Man now. So it's like, I don't know if Civil War 2 is going to be the right
direction
to travel in. Now, I want to speak to something Billy said, and then I want to circle back around to what Sherry had announced, or in her opinion, of Everett Ross, Martin Freeman's character. First, I think, to Billy, the thing that and I kind of expected a comment or an anecdote like this popping up, but not directly in front of me. This was kind of cool to see it actually in person. Like I said, I've seen it twice. The first time I saw it, I took the kids, and we went to a late-night showing. And while we were waiting for the theater to empty out and go in, you're seeing a lot of African Americans coming out of the theater. And this older gentleman, I'd put him like 50s, 60s, probably early 60s to be safe on it. He's coming out. He's talking to his wife. He's talking to a couple people around him, and he was definitely pleased with what he just saw. And I heard him say, and I quote, "I've been waiting 50 years to see a movie like that." And then that was it. I was done. I did not need to hear any other remark. Somebody who has lived through civil rights, somebody who has seen it at its worst, and hopefully is evolving towards what will eventually be its best. I can only hope, my ideological self. When he said that with such sincerity and such just genuine just joy that he just enjoyed the hell out of that movie, that was all I needed. I knew I was going to go see a good movie. Right there. I was done. And I was so excited right there. So that was kind of one of those things. I expected to hear that kind of a quote from somebody. I didn't expect it to play out directly in front of me. That was kind of neat. Now, to circle back around to Sherry, Ross as a throwaway character. I'm having a tough time with that for a couple of reasons. One, his part was not dramatically, was not front line, but I think he added that right flavor. It's like, when you're making a pot of sauce for an Italian and you add the bay leaf, you can survive without it, but it's better with it. And I think what Everett Ross was more than just a handoff. Like he was in Civil War. He's going to be that token character to kind of hand the baton. But he's also the connection back to the rest of the MCU at this point. Like in the one post-credit scene where T'Challa is addressing the UN, and there's Everett Ross in the back, smiling, very happy because he knows he was able to help influence T'Challa into making the decision to say, okay, Wakanda's going to come out of the shadows. We're going to come out from under the hologram now. And I think there was a couple of speeches that Ross had that really were very influential in building that bridge. So
that's not how I thought.
Well, I see. I get that. It's not how you saw it. I get that.
Well, and if it wasn't for him getting shot.
Hang on, Dolly. Go ahead, Cher.
I didn't see T'Challa's change of heart coming from Ross.
Well, I didn't say it was all Ross's doing.
No.
I'm just saying that he was an influencer.
What I loved was I really saw it coming from Eric.
Killmonger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That he was able to, at the end, he did not want Eric to die.
Right.
We can work something out. He was starting to see that while the way Eric was doing it was wrong, he wasn't wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. And that's one of the things that I think Eric is the best Marvel Cinematic Universe villain so far.
And that was actually your next point in the notes that I was working my way towards. Eric Killmonger Eric Sullivan? What was his name?
But everyone calls him Eric Killmonger.
Yeah, Killmonger. As a different type of MCU villain, a more sympathetic ? And I'm like, I saw that and I could see where you were going with it. I'm just we're gonna have to have one of those moments where we just happily disagree about Everett Ross. But let's talk more about Killmonger. And you're saying he's the best villain in the MCU so far. Anybody got an issue with that? So, Edwin, go ahead. Who was?
Well, it's not that I have an issue. It's just the way that they portrayed the character in the movie. Because in the comics, when he takes a heart-shaped herb, it actually puts him into a coma.
Okay.
It doesn't really give him the abilities or the powers of the Black Panther because he's not really part of royal blood, even though his father was brother to T'Chaka. So, but either way, the way they still made it work in the movie was still awesome, even though that one little aspect from the comic, they kind of like steered away from it. But, and then his name, like I get it is Eric Killmonger is his code name, more to say, but his actual name is N'Jadaka. It's like it's
right. That's his birth name.
Bit, but that's like the only aspect
Eric Stevens.
He introduces himself as that.
No, he introduces himself that way, but then they gave him his actual name is Killmonger.
Right.
But in the movie, that's more like his
code name, his military code name.
That's like the only thing that bothered me a little bit of the movie, but other than that,
that's the nitpicker's guide to the universe. Is there's always going to be differences between comic books and movies, and people are going to latch onto them or not. Go ahead, Sybil.
But I do see him as a more sympathetic villain, just with everything that's going on in this day and age in our own country. He's become a very sympathetic because you can see where he was like, our people outside of Wakanda struggle. Why can't we help them? And you can see it happening. Like, they're talking about real life issues in storyline, but it's still real life. It's still stuff that's still happening all around the country, especially where he grew up. Where he grew up in the movie, it's like it's pretty much World War going on around there.
I'd almost compare him to Magneto.
Yes.
Killmonger?
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah, I can see that too. As a matter of fact, I just watched First Class last night.
That just hit a light bulb. Like, I felt it.
Yeah. Like, oh my God.
I wouldn't say Killmonger's like the antagonist. He's just somebody who wants to help, and he's just doing it in the wrong way.
How about this? Instead of an antagonist, we call him a catalyst. Because he is a chemical reaction. You add him into the mix, and it is causing a change rather than just conflict.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it was his introduction into the royal family that really brought along T'Challa to actually change his mind.
Right.
Because you can see Lupita's character the entire time is trying to be like, no,
we could do more.
We need to do more.
Right.
That is why I leave and go do stuff, is because we need to take what we know and bring it out to the world. But she could never change his mind. She couldn't do it. It had to be Eric's influence and his actual real life to bring it to T'Challa to be like, oh, yeah, maybe to not have this happen again, we really should share what we know.
Right. And it's going to be fortuitous because Wakanda's entry into the world is going to parallel the Infinity War.
Yes.
So Earth is going to need all the help it can get. and there you have it. So there was a point I wanted to make. Sherry, you had something else that you wanted to talk about?
Well, when Billy brought up about that he's tired of the events, that everything is it's just this huge thing. And it reminded me of something that I really thought about this film, and that was in terms of scale.
Okay.
There are, in two different ways. In one way, it's much bigger than some of the other films, and in other ways, it's much more personal.
Uh-huh.
It's much bigger in terms of this is not a fight over a company. This is not a fight between individuals. This is the decisions of nations.
Gotcha.
And I think that's what makes T'Challa such a different hero, is that this is not personal ego. This is the lives of his people. He is a king.
Right, and he's trying to act like one.
Exactly.
Okay.
But by the same token, it's not the end of the world we're talking about. We're talking about something much more personal to the people involved. And in that way, it was more like Spider-Man.
Okay.
Which I loved the way that brought that back down to a smaller story after the hugeness of Civil War, the hugeness of the Avengers, of Age of Ultron, all these where we're fighting for the complete destruction of the planet. Thor. The Thor movies are always huge scale. This one was, what do we do for our people around the world? What is our responsibility to these people who we don't know but share with us?
That's why I always like having a palate cleanser like Ant-Man and upcoming Wasp and Ant-Man or whatever. The Guardians of the Galaxy, just an out-and-out fun movie. And then you go back to even though that's obviously huge because we're in space, then you go back to the things with bigger odds, I suppose, because Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is it you want to go with your new family or the family you were born into?
Yeah, and that's something that's interesting about this one. In a lot of ways, I saw it more as a drama first and an action movie second.
Okay. Yeah, and and I mentioned this in the video that Dolly posted a week or so ago, where Brian and I were in agreement. There was a nice balance in this particular movie. There was just enough action, but it wasn't so much that it was overwhelming, and then just enough drama that when they jump back into the action, that it fit. Everything seemed to fit really, really well together.
The story kept moving.
It kept moving. There wasn't a spot where I was like, okay, when's the next section happening?
Yeah. There wasn't the spot in the movie where you're like, wait, was that 2 minutes long or 20? Because I think I just lost a part of my life right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's when I say shout out to the editors, because that's the
pacing.
Editors. That's
the
them
pacing.
doing their job amazingly.
Yeah. Good stuff on
Unsung
that.
heroes of film.
Marvel definitely, I swear they get better almost with every movie.
Oh, yeah. These guys know exactly what they're doing.
They know how to develop the characters, and, tiny shout out to Disney for just going, hey, Marvel, you know what you're doing? Have some money.
Yeah. Yeah. Here are resources. I would love to have a benefactor like that. Hey, Mighty Monkey, you know what you're doing. Here, have a couple $1 million. Oh, good.
As of just an hour ago, when we're recording this, Black Panther tops $500 million. Becoming 10th largest domestic release all time.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
And it's only been out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That's
It
impressive.
hasn't even opened in China yet.
It hasn't?
No.
Oh, man. This is going to be
crazy.
This is going to be a $2 billion movie.
Yeah, it's topped the weekend box office for a third straight weekend.
Well, who's got the top?
Everybody I know has watched it at least 2 times.
This is the first movie I've gone back to the theaters to see twice. Well, Last Jedi I saw it twice, but then there's not many others.
I have to go back for a second time.
Yeah, I still have to go back for a second time.
Most people, like my friends on Facebook, or I have them in a bunch of different Greek groups, a lot of them have seen it twice, 3 times.
Whereas, I've seen it twice. My parents haven't even seen it yet once, but yet they've seen Red Sparrow and Death Wish.
Ooh, I want to see Red Sparrow. Jennifer Lawrence?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I'm
they
hearing
went
that's
to the
quite good.
movies, I think, on Saturday and then again on Sunday. I'm like, and when are you watching Black Panther? They're like, well, we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it when the crowds die down. I'm like, you're in the villages. How much are they going to have crowds down there? But
our
they
Zach.
said the line was down around the corner for Black Panther.
Wow. Our Zach has been doing the Marvel Movie Challenge.
Yes.
Where he's been watching one a week right up to Infinity War. So one movie a week, every week until Infinity War is released.
So he's on week, 10?
Is that getting screwed up now that they've moved up the release date of Infinity
Probably.
War?
Most likely because they bumped it up a week.
Yeah, they bumped it up a week, so he's gonna have to watch 2
27.
movies in a week, and I think that'd be okay with him.
I think that.
But he's been enjoying himself.
Mom and I are doing it too. No, we're not. Well, we're sort of doing it.
All right, we're going to take a moment here. We're not going to go to break, but Sybil's getting up to head out because she's got a couple of other appointments. We just wanted to take a moment to say bye, baby. It's great to see you. We love you.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday. And we can't wait to see you again. Are you going to be up before June, or is it June's the next time you're up in town?
June is the next time I'm in town. I'll be up the Thursday before the show.
Okay. You'll be up the Thursday before the show. So anybody who wants to meet Sybil will have to wait until Flower City Comic Con.
She will be the box office goddess with her tiara in. Are you going to bring it up?
Yes, I'll wear the tiara again. And
Outstanding.
I
Me
even
too.
have a TARDIS dress to wear.
Oh,
TARDIS
nice.
dress? Woohoo.
TARDIS dress and a tiara. And she'll be patrolling the box office. So you will
We can all
definitely.
wear tiaras. I
I
have
have-
like 4.
I have one that I bought. I have one that I bought at the last convention. Just Sybil bought one also.
I bought myself one for my birthday because it was my birthday. I have
Yeah.
to wear a tiara on my birthday.
I know. I think I can wear a tiara on Thursday for my birthday.
And there she goes.
Bye, Sybil.
Bye, baby.
Bye.
Have a good one. Be safe. All right.
Edwin has headphones now.
He does. He's got headphones of his own. He's going to slip right into the Sybil chair there. Hi, Edwin. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. I can finally hear the conversation.
Nice. And
We were
now,
all talking about you.
yeah, we were. No, we weren't.
All good
Slightly.
things. All good things.
Now, Sherry, you touched on something that'll be a next point that I want to kind of touch on. Is T'Challa himself as a character is a different type of hero. When you say lack of personal ego, is it compared to Peter Parker, for instance, or
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark is basically
Personal ego.
He's all ego.
Tony Stark is all. He's like the opposite of T'Challa. Really?
The only one with more ego is ego.
Yeah, the whole planet. All right, so but Sherry, elaborate on that idea for me a little bit more.
His oh my God, brain gone, not working. Sorry.
I think I have it right now.
His motivation is like no other one that we've seen. We've got Tony, where we know it's all ego.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Captain America, who it's all about this idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's all ideals. Thor, once again, you're going with ego. You're seeing all of these heroes that, I think the closest would probably be Spider-Man, but and then that's also very small scale because he's so young.
Mm-hmm.
With T'Challa, it's this whole world, his entire, all of his people. It's not him. It's not just his family. He understands that he has to put those things aside. He's pretty much, from what you get from the movie, he's set aside his feelings for the woman he loves for the good of his people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There's nothing about, it's never about him. It's about what's best for his country, what's best for Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't seen that before. And I think it's so refreshing and so interesting, and it just makes his actions different.
I'm with you.
than you
Okay.
would see from somebody else.
You were going to say something, buddy?
I think we have seen it before, but not as in a grand as Black Panther did. But in Captain America, the first one, he had a little bit of that. He did set aside.
Stop hitting the table.
It's a habit.
Hit your leg.
Do that. There you go.
All right. He showed that.
It goes right back to the
feeling.
table.
I had to go back to
Oh,
the
you're
table.
the man.
Hands flat on the table. Happy?
You're Italian. You won't be able to talk.
He is. He's Italian and Cuban. He's screwed. He's talking with his hands. He might as well just learn sign
everything.
language.
I am everything. I have sign language.
You are a mutt. It's all good, but you're a cute mutt.
All right.
Okay, so
Thank
back
you.
to Captain America.
Captain America did show that. His ego, yes, he has an ego. It's not as big as Tony Stark's, but it's there. But he does love his country and the people around him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but he was willing to go against orders and pretty much throw away his own life for one person,
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
which I couldn't have seen T'Challa doing.
Well,
Did he
Steve was
want
ready to give
take
up
care
for
of his
Peggy.
sister? Did he want to take care
Bucky.
of his
And
mother?
Bucky. And
Did
for
he
Bucky.
want to take care of all? But what was best for his country was what came first.
Mm-hmm.
Did he even have a mother?
No, because on the same token, that's kind of why Steve Rogers didn't want to do the Accord, because he didn't think it was best for the country or the world that they had a governing body telling them what to do as Avengers. So I actually think he did what he did, not just for Bucky, but for the fact that he didn't think it was the right decision for the country, for the world to know that.
I agree with you completely, Dolly. I was actually talking about
Captain
First
America's
Avenger. I was talking about First Avenger. His thing in that. I do think that his focus got larger later on, but it was still never quite to the point that I think T'Challa's was, just for the fact that T'Challa's king.
Uh-huh. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm reading through some of your notes right now because I wanted to try and pick up some other things to talk about. And it failed because the point died before I finished reading a particular sentence. So I'm like, oh, oops. All right. So right now, basically what I'm doing is going through the 3 pages of trivia that you discovered.
I'm on the trivia page right now.
Oh, my stars. There is a lot here. There is a lot going on in this movie.
This is the 18th film released by Marvel Studios.
How many
Wow.
films?
18.
The
This
18th?
is 18th.
What was it you were just saying there, buddy? You feel bad because why?
We were just like, I disagree with almost everything she's said.
That's okay.
He's feeling a little self-conscious for disagreeing with you, Cher.
It's okay. I
Oh,
agree with you,
please, disagree
Ian.
with me all you want.
Honey, this is what we're here for. We're not here to talk about everything that we agree with. We're talking about everything that we like, and what we see. So that's the point of the conversation, is to say,
You can disagree and
Exactly.
still like each other.
right.
Personal opinions vary, but I'm on point with you, Ian, if that makes you feel better.
He's just thumbs up. He's good. Thumbs up.
In addition to being the 18th film in the Marvel universe or whatever, this film is the marked Chapter 6 of Phase 3
Okay.
of its MCU.
Now, is Infinity War the closeout of Phase 3? Do we know that?
I'm not
I
sure.
think
It
so.
is, because Infinity War is going to tie in all
Everything,
the little,
all the other.
like the little,
And it's gonna
Easter
introduce-
eggs and everything like that.
Right.
It's going to connect it all in Infinity War Part 1.
Okay, and it's going to introduce Captain Marvel. I think Brie Larson is supposed to show up
Yes,
in Infinity
for
War,
Phase 4.
and then she blends in, and she has her solo in Phase 4. So you see where Captain Marvel comes from.
Exactly.
Okay, that should be an interesting way to do it.
Ant-Man and the Wasp start Phase 4?
What's that?
Ant-Man and Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp
Starts
start
the
Phase
Phase
4.
4.
When is that being released? Ant-Man.
July.
It's in July, and okay, and so Infinity War is in April now, April 27th.
April now.
It is right around the damn corner. Oh my stars!
Oh my God, I can't keep track of everything that's happening.
I'm going to have to see Black Panther again.
No.
And
Phase,
Civil War.
Yeah,
Phase 3.
that's actually a good combination. That's a good 1-2 punch to work with. Civil War and Black Panther together, I think would fit really well.
And the Spider-Man movie as well.
And just
Homecoming.
because
Homecoming.
I'm a completist, I'm going back to Iron Man.
Actually,
There it is.
Actually, Black Panther ended Phase 3.
Okay.
Infinity War starts Phase 4.
Wow. Okay. So hey, happy new phase.
There's Phase.
Congratulations, everybody.
We made it. We did it.
We made it.
So Infinity War, then Ant-Man, then Captain Marvel, and then untitled Avengers film, untitled Spider-Man Homecoming sequel, and then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
The untitled Avengers movie is supposed to be, I believe, Infinity War Part 2 in essence. They just haven't they don't have a proper title for it yet.
And it's May 2019.
Okay.
Captain Marvel's coming out on my birthday next year.
Yay.
Yay!
Tired
I'm
of-
so excited.
I'm tired of waiting. I'm so jonesing to see that character in action because it's one of my favorite Marvel characters. Good old Carol Danvers.
Hey, Chris.
Yes, dear.
Guess who was turned down by Marvel for the role of Black Panther and for writing the film?
Morgan Freeman.
She
He's
said
a little
yes.
too old.
Thanks, Ian.
Todd Bridges.
To play everybody.
I believe I read this particular part in the list, and if I'm not mistaken, it's Noel Clark.
Yes.
Who if people are listening or wondering who the heck that
I
is,
thought it was Mark
it's-
Shepard.
It's there you go. more things for Tanya not to be able to play 6 Degrees of Mark Shepard with. But Noel Clarke played Mickey Smith in Doctor Who. Rose's boyfriend at the time of the Ninth Doctors, and then
Mickey the Idiot.
Mickey the Idiot, exactly.
I knew the name.
I can see it.
I couldn't.
No.
I really couldn't. I couldn't see Noel playing it because I don't see him as having the same presence that Chadwick Boseman did.
Nose he has.
Dolly, you lock onto the weirdest damn things to not like an actor over. I'm serious.
I know.
You
I
really
almost didn't date him with the holes in his ears.
She made me wait 2 months in Facebook.
Okay. He's got what gauge do you have in there now?
These are 00s.
Okay, you're staying there, right? You're not
Yes.
because
No, we don't want the
Dolly
ones that-
doesn't approve.
because if Edwin shows up looking like that guy from the agricultural community in
one with the big
the one with the
thing.
big lip thing.
Oh God.
I don't know what you're pointing at, Ian. Water? Yes. Okay, go ahead. There you go.
Nah, she would just drop me quick and be like, nope.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's all over. It's all over, man.
Yeah, I just cut the ears.
You just cut on. Cut me, Mickey. Cut me, Mickey. So,
Wow, we've like really.
but this is what we do. This is
bring
our
us
thing.
back, Sherry. Bring us back, please.
Actually, I wanted to bring us back. Can we talk about
Go ahead, Monk.
Gorilla City, please?
The
Can I
what?
talk about what?
Gorilla City.
Oh yeah, yeah. Not the DC Universe version of Gorilla City, but the
But
Jabari tribes.
Jabari, that they're all vegetarians.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome.
Winston
But yeah,
Duke.
that's
And I will
what
feed
I
you to my
think I
children.
We're all vegetarians.
He cracked himself up. That's what I
But-
love.
Yes.
Made me laugh.
But did
Yeah.
you? But in the trivia, did you catch in the goofs in regards to they say they're all vegetarians, but it was one of their fishermen that found
Yeah.
T'Challa.
I said that.
So, like, if they're fishermen's, is it the fish
They could be
industry?
pescatarian vegetarians.
Or-
That's fine. They could be
okay.
all fishies. You know.
Yeah, I know vegetarians
Fish and
who
li-
eat fish.
Yeah.
That's it. They don't need any other
Pescatarian.
animal.
Pescatarians.
What if they were fishing for boots?
Oh,
That's what I get.
now you're fishing for points is what you're doing right now. That's what's happening at the moment.
I make
They
no
could
points.
also have been fishing for trade.
Okay.
True.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That too.
Yep.
But yes, that's all the woof woof woof.
Yeah. Ooh, ooh.
That was completely Winston.
Oh, did he wing it?
Yes.
That's
He's the
phenomenal.
one who wanted. He like fought for that. He wanted that
That's awesome. That's a great.
because they took
Great ad.
Man Ape right out because they didn't want that whole deal.
Uh huh.
Right.
But he wanted to make sure that some of the characters' origins was still in there.
Uh huh.
Which I'm surprised I haven't heard any backlash about, to be honest.
I know, right? Usually,
Yeah.
a lot of people like to complain about the littlest thing.
Oh,
And that-
there's.
in that
I'm
aspect,
sure
I was
they're out
like,
there.
I'm sure the nitpickers are out there, but I haven't heard them. That's another
I
thing.
didn't think,
Exactly.
I'm really surprised, but I loved it. And I know we're in Gorilla City, but his sister, I love that all of her costumes had like the little teeth underneath her chin.
Okay.
Like her traditional outfit had the teeth. When she came out to with her little arm or hand cannons, she had the same thing, little teeth there, and I love that. That was like her personality. Each character had like their own little trait.
Yeah.
I have a question / observation.
Go for it, Billy.
Now, Black Panther isn't a comic that I've read. I can't read everything, and that's
Right.
just not one I've read.
Nor I.
Or the character's not one I've been especially familiar with, which the movie I loved. Now, because I'm not familiar with the character, is it easier to love a movie? Whereas with Superman and Batman, two of my favorites, I nitpick.
Right.
Is it, since there's lack of things for me to nitpick, is it easier to like a movie?
I think that's a yes.
I think so.
That's easier because I know for me because I've the first comic book I ever picked up was Spider-Man. So, and that's the one I've picked up the most over the 35 years that I've been collecting comic books is Spider-Man. It's the bulk of my collection. And so I know all the ins and the outs and the stories and the good stories and the bad stories. And I know the good iterations of Peter Parker and the ones that are like, what the hell are you doing? And Miles Morales. And I know all these other little add-ons that have happened and the switch between him and so I can look at the three actors who have played Spider-Man and go, okay, this guy was good in here, but this guy was better here. And then Tom Holland hits the scene, and I think Tom Holland's the best of the three so far. Not to throw shade on Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, but I think Tom Holland's the closest to the ideal. And but for my daughter, the 16-year-old who has never collected much in terms of comic books, she has a couple of Ms. Marvels, and She has seen a couple of the movies. She's able to look at it in an entirely different angle. So it's easier for her to love those kind of movies because she doesn't have a lot of the background baggage. Let's call it baggage.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call it, and I think that's what it is she's less sensitive to that, so she's able to just appreciate it.
Can I quote my sister real quick?
Go ahead, quote your sister.
He's hot.
Yeah.
That's all she cares about.
Jules has become a Tom Holland, we'll call it fanatic.
I'm that age.
So yeah. So in the same vein, being able to look at Black Panther and see the character, how it's being portrayed on screen and not being held back by what you have seen in the comic books, I think it helps develop that appreciation. For me, my experience with Black Panther as a character in the comic books is when he shows up in other titles that I've actually collected, because I have not collected Black Panther myself. And when they did the big end of the world, the big secret war where they destroyed the multiverse of Marvel and they were resetting everything, they were trying to combine all of the Ultimate stuff and 616 and all of these things. They were trying to basically weed out all of these extra titles and story arcs.
It's sort of like the Marvel version of... what was the DC one?
Infinite
Earths.
The Crisis of Infinite Earths. Yeah, it's basically the Marvel version thereof. And Doom shows up as the god of all creation temporarily during this interim purgatory period between the collapse of the multiverses and the establishment of the new one. There was this thing called Battle World, which was a series of crossovers throughout the course of the summer that this transpired a couple years ago. And Doom was God. And Doom had to deal with people who survived outside of that bubble. They came in through this reality pocket, and there's Reed Richards, there's T'Challa, and a couple of others. And T'Challa comes walking out of this spaceship with the Infinity Gauntlet, okay, full powered, and starts beating the crap out of Doom. I'm like, okay, I guess he's pretty badass then. If he can hold that thing, then T'Challa must be somebody to reckon with at this point. And that was my introduction. Well, not so much my introduction to the character, but one of those
your impression.
My impression is T'Challa's badass because anybody who can hold that thing in one hand, there's got to be something to him.
Then he hits the thing with Thor's hammer, and
he actually did.
Get out.
I'm not even kidding.
Made that up.
There was a whole in Battle World. There was a whole section of Thors. All of the Thors from the various multiverses showed up in one spot, and they were the police force of this Battle World. There was like 100 Thors, all the different types, shapes, and sizes. It was wild.
I guess you could say Battle World was doomed.
Oh.
Where's Rob when we need him?
Yeah, I know.
The
part of Rob will be played by Ian today.
Yeah. I am not the comic book collector.
Right.
Never have been. My
Me
brother
neither.
was a comic book collector.
Uh-huh.
There's only 2 titles that I ever collected, and it was back when I was a teenager. So I can watch these movies and go, okay, I like what they're doing with this character. I don't like what I'm doing with what they're doing with that character, and it's strictly based on what I'm seeing in the movies, except for one character.
And that is?
One character, Angel.
Okay.
One of the only titles I collected was X Factor.
Okay.
And during that whole apocalypse thing and the battles in the Morlock caves, and there was all these things going on. So I knew how Angel lost his wings.
Okay.
And I hated what they did in the movies. Hated it. And it was the only thing that annoyed, well, and also Nightcrawler. I didn't like what they did with Nightcrawler, but that was because they couldn't keep his timelines correct.
Yeah, well, Alan Cummings is always going to be Nightcrawler in my opinion.
Yeah, he was very good. But when they did that, when they had him young and he was meeting them young, I'm like, wait a minute, he didn't meet them until he was an adult. And it just annoyed me. But that really bothered me is how they changed Angel. So I can totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I collected exactly 2 titles.
Well, I liked Frodo and Gollum scene in Black Panther.
Yeah, Frodo and Gollum facing off again.
That
That was
hilarious.
Bilbo. That's Bilbo and Gollum.
Sorry.
Bilbo and Gollum face to face for the first time. They were the Tolkien white guys. Yes. So
There you go.
all right.
No more.
I'm going to wrap this section up because we've been at this for a little while and we've wandered around and had some good times. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add this one last piece of trivia and we're going to go to break. And then when we come back, we'll wrap this particular episode up, episode 72. Now, due to this Marvel Cinematic Universe being distributed by Walt Disney Pictures, it might be accurate to consider T'Challa's sister Shuri as a Disney princess.
Yes, she is.
Yeah,
She's a
she
Disney
definitely
princess.
Oh, Lord.
What are those? All right, so we're going to go to break, and when
Is
we
this
come back...
Wakanda? No, Kansas.
Yeah, it's no, it's Kansas. I love that girl. I love that character. All right, so we'll be right back right after this.
Cartoons, man. Some of my favorites, like I love watching Scooby-Doo. I would watch Scooby-Doo just for the guest stars. Because they'd always have like somebody like Don Knotts or Jonathan Winters or somebody on there like that. Cultural icon or comedian coming on. Shaggy and Scooby come walking in. Zoinks, like, hey, Scoob. Like it's the Harlem Globetrotters. Like it's the guys who do the fancy basketball tricks. Ruby Roo. Yeah. I wish they'd update that and do new Scooby-Doo movies. You'd tune in for the Chris Rock episode. I know I would. Shaggy and Scooby come walking in. Zoinks, like, hey, Scoob. Like it's Chris Rock. Finally they put a black guy on Scooby-Doo who's not a damn globetrotter. And forget about Scooby Snacks. That dog's doing Scooby Crack.
I can do both.
And so we are back. We're back. We're here. I don't know where I picked this accent up from. I'll put it away. Hang on a second.
Put it back down.
Yes, dear.
Throw it away.
That was fun. That was a good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the conversation lasted about half the length of the actual movie of Black Panther. So that was good.
Well, the movie's at 134 minutes.
Okay.
And we're at an hour 20
For
total
the whole podcast
for
at the moment.
podcast
Okay.
Up to this moment.
Yeah.
So yes.
All right, so short segments. We're going to start wrapping up this particular episode for the day, but we got some events coming up. Superhero Weekend at the Strong Museum of Play. FC3 and the Mighty Monkey Corporation will be there. That is March 24th and 25th. We will be there 11 to 4 on the 24th. That's Saturday. And then from 1 to 4 on Sunday the 25th. Now, that Saturday the 24th, after we are done with the sci-fi quiz, we're going to be hanging out for a little bit, and then we're going to show up at Knox. Craft cocktails and comfort foods that evening for our sci-fi quiz. Time to be decided, but probably going to be at usually around 7:30, 8 o'clock.
That's when we're done with the Strong Museum. We're going to go to Knox for the sci-fi quiz.
Exactly, yes.
Yes.
So it's going to be a busy day for the
Yes.
FC3 folks. We'll have some hours in between.
Yeah,
We'll have some time in
definitely.
between. So that's going to be cool.
And to make sure that when you come down for the sci-fi quiz, that you pick up a raffle ticket for a chance to win $100. A $10 donation
Yep.
gets you a chance to win $100 during the month of May.
That's the Mighty Monkey raffle. That's for
Yes.
FC3, and that is going to be taking place in May of 2018. So we're selling all the tickets ahead of time. So when you get your $10 ticket, it will be giving you a chance to win $100, and we're going to be drawing. We're going to be associating ourselves with the New York State Lottery.
The New York
so there are
State
3-number
evening
drawings,
numbers,
the evening numbers, and that's drawn every day in May.
Right.
So every day in May, you'll have a shot at a $100 win. That's
So make
bottom
sure
line.
that you get your tickets
So get your tickets ahead of time, and we'll be selling those
at Knox.
and at variety of places. Whenever we're out for events, and we'll let
We
people
can't do
know.
it during the Strong Museum events, but
No,
we
they
can
won't let us
it
do
at
that
Knox.
on campus. That's fine.
But tickets, you can get them from myself,
Mm-hmm.
Sherry, for those that are down in the Clinton area. Chris has some.
Chris has some. Tanya has some. Dan
Ann's
has
got
some.
some.
Brian has some. Evan has some.
Ann, did I say Ann?
And yes, Ann will.
Sarah and Curtis.
Yeah, so most
So-
FC3 folks will have
Dolly
tickets
will
with
have
them.
some today.
Dolly's going to be getting some today. Ian, you're too young to sell them.
Yeah.
How
So
about Morgan Freeman?
If I have some,
Morgan
Edwin
Freeman
has
will have a
some.
couple.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah,
I figured, yeah.
yeah. And
so
then
find your favorite FC3 person to get your tickets.
and get your tickets from us. And you can reach out to us on Facebook, and we'll arrange something if we have to. And then the last event I'm going to talk about is April 4th. Again, time to be decided. Again, we're going to be at Knox, and it's going to be the FC3 board game night. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be playing.
Run by Sarah.
Yep, Sarah's got that all under control, and we're going to be playing a variety of different board games. I'll be in the corner playing Talisman, most likely.
That's going to be way too long. I don't think I'm bringing the Talisman board.
I'll bring one of my own then.
I love that game.
See, there you go. So those are our events coming up. March 24th and 25th, we'll be at the Strong Museum of Play for the Superhero Weekend. Later that evening on the 24th, we'll be doing the Sci-Fi Quiz. And then on the 4th of April, we'll be back at Knox for the board game night. Everyday Heroes. On this week's Everyday Heroes, we want to give a shout-out to Adam Driscoll, Norse. Whoa.
He's Norse.
Is he from Norway? Is he a
I don't
Viking?
know.
Okay,
I don't think
nurse
so.
extraordinaire.
No, he's from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
He's from Wisconsin. Well, they're all from the same kind of. Never mind.
Yeah, no.
Adam Driscoll, nurse extraordinaire at Strong Memorial Hospital. In addition to being an amazing nurse, he is a wonderful father, husband, and an all-around great guy. Thank you, Adam, for being our hero. And remember, not all heroes wear capes. Adam is I think I met Adam.
Is it Adam married to Kate?
He is.
Yep.
Okay.
Adam, it's class act.
Kate
Hell of a
actually
guy.
had a snow day the other day, and she usually doesn't get called off of work, but they said don't come in.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
wild.
Yep.
Okay.
I saw that post.
Old friends from Ren Fair.
Good deal. Good deal. And the question of the week, what is making your geeky little heart happy this week? All right, so Sherry, am I reading this right off the notes here? Name one book, TV show, movie, game, or album you are reading, watching, playing, or listening to right now. Sherry, lead us off with this one. What's making your geeky little heart happy at the moment?
Last year at FC3, in the game room, we were introduced to a really weird card game called We Didn't Play Test This at All.
Oh,
Yeah, Ian's played that. He loves that game.
Fell in love with it, and we have been playing it lately. I got it for Monkey Girl for Christmas this year, and we've been playing it a lot, and that's making my geeky little heart happy.
have you gotten Exploding Kittens yet?
Yes.
We've had Exploding Kittens for a while.
They have another one called Imploding Kittens.
Oh, no.
Got that too. Got that one too.
It's an expansion to that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a natural thing. How about you, Monk? What's been keeping you happy lately?
I just picked up a new manga series. And
Uh-huh.
I've read the first book like 3 or 4 times, and I've never gotten past it. And I finally got past it, and I'm like, wow, I really like this. It's called Natsume's Book of Friends.
Nice. Right.
I'm
Dolly.
enjoying that.
I'm going to you next. Dolly, name one book, TV show, movie, game, or album you are reading, watching, playing, or listening to right now.
I've been on my Xbox One lately.
Uh-huh.
So I beat Injustice 2, and I'm addicted to it on my phone. But Edwin also introduced me to Darksiders, and I have way too much fun playing that. All you hear is me yelling at the TV and screaming, F your couch, while I destroy the couch so I can get a soul. Because when you break things, it gives you souls. I get so happy. And just ruining furniture. I'm like, screw your chair.
Billy, how about you?
The one thing that's made my geeky little heart very happy is that Kevin Smith is still alive.
Yeah, that's a thing.
He's my very, very favorite celebrity. Like, I listen to so many of his podcasts. I literally feel like he's my friend.
Absolutely.
And when I heard
that's,
the
I
other
think,
day that
he cultivates that.
He had the massive heart attack, I got really, really sad. And now he's done some Facebook Live stuff that talk about what happened and how he's recovering, and that's made me really happy that he's doing better.
Huge shout out to the big Kev, man. We're glad that you're cruising through this, that you've got a great attitude about it. I'd watched his Facebook where he was talking about what had happened. He did a play-by-play of it, and for me it's very. It was
close to home.
It hit close to home because Kevin is like 3 weeks older than I am. So
he's 47. I'm 52.
Yeah, I mean, so we're all kind of contemporaries of each other, and I've been going through some very minor, comparatively speaking, minor health issues myself, and so having him talk about it was an inspiration in its own way. The next day I called my doctor, said, look, I've got some of these concerns, and I know people my age are having issues lately. And now I've made friends with a cardiologist. So
I've listened to his podcast for years, obviously his movies.
Right.
But you learn about him. You become like his friend listening to his podcast as he tells his stories and stuff.
Exactly.
And I've seen him live a bunch of times, and I've got to talk to him a couple times on the radio.
Oh, cool.
And one time he said he was going to adopt me. He loved me so much. So.
Yay.
We
adopted you.
He's like on my wish list for people to bring into the show.
So
he
I'm
would be a lot
glad
of
he's
fun.
still alive.
Exactly. I am too.
For a long time.
I am
What's
too.
the name of this podcast?
He has like 8 of them. Or
Yeah,
something
it's
like that.
Smodcast is the flagship podcast. You can get them all at smodcast.com. But Fat Man on Batman, he covers pop culture stuff. Hollywood Babylon is a sort of a pop culture movies, what's going on, and it's a very funny one. He's got a bunch. Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. You can find them all at smodcast.com.
He's actually, one of the things he talked about was they're going to do a Jay and Silent Bob reboot movie.
They're just starting to film it.
That's amazing. So that should be fun. That should be good. But yeah, so Kevin Smith is still on this earth for a little while longer, and we're very, 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 very happy about that. Okay, man, get well soon, brother. All right, Edwin, your turn.
What I have to say has made me kind of happy was I found out that on Friday they had released a remake of one of my two of my favorite 64 games, which is Turok.
Okay.
So I've been having a blast. That's actually the game I actually streamed on Saturday yesterday.
Oh, cool. All right.
So
good deal.
Kind of happy with that.
Nice.
Yes, the guy in the chair.
Yep, that's my Twitch channel. The guy in the
chair.
chair.
The guy in the chair is your Twitch channel. Okay.
And I'm his Overwatch or Oracle.
She's my girl in the chair.
Felicity Schmoke.
Exactly. I feed him info.
All right, so good deal. And you're gonna be doing that. You're gonna stick in with that.
Yeah, that's gonna be my main Twitch channel, the guy in the chair. And then I'll be working with the Monkey family on that Twitch channel as well.
Sexy. Right, Tanya Fabulous. How about you over there?
Actually, I was able to just sit down, relax, and read a book the other day. And it's been so long since I've had a chance to actually just sit down, relax, and read.
Yeah. What's it like?
You know what? It was just a book that I don't even remember where I picked it up, maybe at Big Lots or something like that or something. But just loving the title of it was Nice Girls Don't Bite Their Neighbors.
So is this an autobiography that you're planning on writing or something?
Well, it's just about the author Molly Harper, and she's got lots of different paranormal type series and a chance of the undead living in the real world and how vampires can actually be part of the family.
Gotcha.
That type of thing. So it was the fourth book of a series called Nice Girls, and of course I picked up the last book of the series and I read it. And I'm just like, oh, where did the characters come from? But it was enough that it could stand alone. So I just had a nice chance to sit there and read and things like that. So that's what made my geeky heart happy.
Good deal. All right, Chimich.
Oh.
It's Ian's turn.
Yes, it is.
How about you, buddy?
What makes me happy? I'm currently playing
You had a snow
through...
day.
What?
He had a snow
You
day.
had a snow day.
Yes.
That's what made you happy.
Not because of the lack of school, but because of the snow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right, what makes my geeky heart happy? I am currently playing through all class storylines in Old Republic.
Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO.
Because I never really focused on the storylines, I just focused on leveling my characters up.
Right.
I'm starting to see the crossovers between classes
Uh-huh.
and all the companions just hanging out, and it's so cool and awesome to see.
BioWare does a great job of creating a story-based RPG. I think they're phenomenal at that. They've had a history of doing that sort of thing.
I started to squeal when I heard Mako and Quasin were friends. Oh, it made me so happy.
There you go. Good stuff.
And Christopher.
Well, Christopher has been indulging my need for D&D.
And how does that make you feel?
I'm telling you, it's the happiest moment of my life.
I still have to pick up the handbook.
Yeah, the player's handbook.
Yeah,
we're gonna get
Which
you one
version?
of those. 5th edition. We got to get you into 5th because that's what we're all playing for the most part right now. But I picked up Xanathar's Guide to Everything, which is one of the first really major expansions to the player's handbook and DM's guide.
Where's your backpack?
It's not in the office. It's not in the studio right now.
not
It's
in
in
the
my
office.
car, locked away, safe from you.
Oh.
But Xanathar's Guide to Everything is great, and the part that I really enjoy the most is that it's written from the perspective of a beholder who lives under Waterdeep and fancies himself kind of a crime lord. So there's there's sections of information and then these little drop-in notes that are written by, quote-unquote, written by Xanathar himself. And Xanathar has a pet goldfish named Silgar. All right, so this should tell you the kind of attitude that we're dealing with here. And the commentary throughout the book is hilarious. It's just, I can't even think of anything off the top of my head, so I won't try to make a quote on it at the moment. But it's been great because it's adding another layer to this great game that I love playing so much, and that I've been DMing on in a couple of different campaigns. I'm just looking forward to playing 5th edition now. The only experience I have with 5th edition right now is DMing it, so I'm looking forward to playing it one of these days. So that's a thing. So that's what's making me happy at the moment. And another thing that's making me happy is that we've come to a conclusion of another great episode. Everybody had a great time, and I'm hoping
Did we
at
get
least
everybody?
We got everybody. I think I got Monk and Sherry on the phone.
Call Sybil.
We'll call Sybil and ask her later, and we'll punch that in on episode 73.
Sybil was happy that she got to come and see all
yes,
of us.
it's so great to have her in the
yes.
studio again.
I got to hug Sybil.
That's a thing. All right.
Sybil liberties.
So this has been episode 72, and this is The Monkey Business, a product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation, purveyors and producers of the Flower City Comic-Con. Coming at you like a spider monkey, June 9th and 10th. 2018 at the Floriano Rochester Riverside Convention Center. Like us on Facebook, love us on Facebook, subscribe to us on Patreon, FC3ROC, and we will see you guys next week. Have a great one. Dun, dun.